Hi, I'm doing a new series. That new series is a bisexual life hacking series. And the first video will be how do bisexuals lose weight? That is what I'm going to be talking about today, right after a few announcements. First, many of you requested, and I'm going to be doing a live Q&A stream on YouTube. It's going to be on November 12th. It's a Sunday. It's going to be 9 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. The format of it will be we're going to play some trivia games. I'm going to try and give away a few physical bisexual prizes. We'll see if that works out. But more importantly, I'll be answering your questions. So if you have any questions about being bisexual, put them in the comment section below here. If you want to stay private, you can message me through this YouTube channel or through my email address. But the best way to ensure that I answer your question is look up something called Super Chat. Super Chat is a feature on YouTube that's used with live streams. If you've ever seen a live stream, like there's a whole bunch of comments going on the side. If you Super Chat something, it actually sticks on top, and that will, if the question is long, that will give me enough time to be able to read the entire question and answer it. So those are your options. I know a lot of you don't have access to bisexuals in your cities and your towns. This is your opportunity to ask any questions you'd like. I'm really looking forward to chatting with all of you. Now, after that, this video is brought to you by my latest MMF Bisexual Romance, Rules for Spanking. I'll talk more about that at the end of the video. Until then, let's talk about losing weight. So like I said, I'm going to be doing a new series on my channel called Bisexual Life Hacks. Why? Because a lot of the studies on bisexuality have turned up some kind of disturbing things in my opinion. Bisexuals are more likely, high school bisexuals are more likely to be overweight, to exercise less than others, to drink more, to take more drugs, to be more depressed, and all these things here. And really, it's not necessary to be overweight and all these things. And I understand why it happens. If you feel excluded from life, if you feel like people won't accept you for who you are, you're more likely to do destructive things. However, having kind of embraced the channel and starting to understand that, hey, there's a ton of us out there, and hey, we feel just like you, and you're not alone, and there's no reason for you to take it out on your body and yourself. Now that you've had all those experiences, you might be wanting to explore, like, making some life improvements. And the thing that is on most people's mind is losing weight. For a long time, there's been like a lot of misconceptions about how it is that you lose weight. I am a person who really like a lot of topics, are kind of obsessed with, how a person can stay healthy and fit and strong. And there's been a lot of research recently that kind of talks about the realistic way of how to lose weight. And believe it or not, a lot of the things that you've been taught in school about nutrition flies in the face with reality. And you wonder how it seems like America is more fitness obsessed now than ever. And yet America is now the heaviest now than ever. There's actually reasons for that. And I'm going to get into it in this video. Okay, first, if you have only so much mental energy to devote to losing weight, I completely get it. I completely understand it. Life is busy, school is busy, work is busy, kids are busy, all that stuff. So let's say you only have one piece of mental energy and you're only capable to start out with doing one thing. What is it that you should focus on? Now, I assume that you're going to think that I'm going to say that if you have only one piece of mental energy, that which you should focus on is exercise. I am pretty much religious about exercise, but no. If you have only one piece of mental energy, you should not be devoted to exercise. Seriously, I know it's sacrilege to say it, but it's true. You're going to say, maybe you're going to think, oh, then what I'm going to refer to is calories. You should focus on calories. Actually, no. If you can only have enough mental energy to focus on one thing, it's not exercise, it's not calories. And you might think, then I'm going to say sugar, and I'm going to say no, it's actually not sugar either. If you have only one small group of mental energy, what you should focus on more than anything else is a substance called insulin. And I'm sure a lot of you are asking, well, what is insulin? You might have heard of insulin because insulin is that thing when a person has diabetes and they eat something sweet, oftentimes they have to inject themselves with something. That thing they inject themselves is called insulin. The purpose of insulin, well, I'll say that insulin has two functions for this topic that we're talking about. Insulin is a substance released by the body that collects all the sugar in your blood and forces it into storage. And then as a second part, what it does is it locks the fat cells that they've put the sugar in, preventing your body from accessing that fat as a source of energy. So that is essentially what insulin is. Why is it I'm saying that you should focus on insulin? Because when everyone talks about losing weight, they don't actually mean they want to just lose weight however. Like you can cut off your arm and like that you can lose 20 pounds, but you still have the belly and you still have the thigh fat and you still have a little bit extra there. When people talk about losing weight, they're always talking about losing fat, not muscle. Usually the goal is they want to look like that toned kind of fitness model that everyone sees in magazines. And the way you do that is not by just losing weight, it's by specifically losing fat. And you might have been thinking in the past, well, everyone always talks about calories. The way you lose weight is to focus on calories. You eat less calories. And you know what? That's true. But there's different ways that you can reduce your calories. One way can make you hungry all of the time, which will cause you to break your diet more quickly. And the other way is to do it where you aren't hungry at all and you're able to cut your calories. So let's give a kind of good example of what I'm talking about. And let's go into depth about calories itself. So let's say that you are a sophisticated dieter and you know a couple of things. You know that your body needs a certain amount of calories every day to maintain its current weight. In other words, there's a number. If you have more calories than that, you'll gain weight. If you have less calories than that, you'll lose weight. And if you're not familiar with this concept, you can type in how many calories do I need a day into Google, and you'll get a bunch of websites, and there'll be like little things on it where you can put in your age, you can put in your weight and your height, and it'll spit out how many calories approximately you should be eating a day. So let's say you have that number, and let's say for just easy math purposes that the number of calories you need to eat in a day is 2,000 calories, and that will allow you to maintain, not gain or loss, but just maintain. So it's 2,000 calories, and you also know, because you're a sophisticated dieter, that 3,200 calories equal 1 pound. So if you were to reduce your intake, in a deficit of 3,200 calories, you will lose 1 pound. So being the sophisticated person you are, you say, well, if I need 1,000 calories just to be even, that means if I reduce my daily caloric intake by 1,000 calories, I'll be in 1,000 calorie deficit for that day. And if I do that for an entire week, that means that I will be in a 7,000 calorie deficit for the entire week. And you know that 3,200 calories equal 1 pound. That means you will lose over 2 pounds in that 1 week. And you go, okay, that's perfect. That's just math. Easy, I'll do it. 1,000 calories a day, that's how much I'm going to eat. Now, let's say now that you've decided to do that, and what you're going to do is this. You're going to say, you're going to skip breakfast. You are going to have a granola bar for lunch, something healthy. You're going to go to the gym after school or after work. But so you don't pass out at the gym, you're going to have an energy bar. And then after that, you're going to come home and have dinner. And then you're going to go to sleep after that. And because, you probably love soda, whether it's Coke or whatever else, you're going to switch your soda or energy drink to a diet energy drink. So they have 0 calories. That will not add to your caloric intake. And then you will lose weight. And you might think, oh, this is perfect. I'll only have 1,000 calories a day. I'll be in a deficit of 1,000 calories, 7,000 a week. You'll lose less than 2 pounds in a week. And you know what? You might be right. But let's look at this situation, this diet, from an insulin perspective. So you don't have breakfast. And actually, that's not necessarily a bad idea. So your body has been kind of filtering out all the sugars. And by the time you wake up in the morning after 8 hours of sleep, you are in a state where you are starting to burn fat. So that's good. So you have breakfast. Let's say that you don't become mentally foggy and you can survive that. You don't have breakfast. You continue to burn fat throughout the morning, which is good, which is successful. And then you get to lunch. For lunch, you have a granola bar, thinking that's helpful, that's healthy. But the truth is, if you look at it from an insulin perspective, granola bars are thought to be healthy, but in truth, they have two things which are incredibly bad for your dieting purposes. It has sugar. First of all, sugar is the most pure form of creating sugar glucose, which causes a release of insulin. So if the granola bar has sugar, and a lot of it, which most of them do, it will automatically spike your insulin, causing insulin to rush into your body, taking all the sugar, jamming into fat cells and locking the fat cells, making sure that your body is incapable of using fat cells as an energy source. That's one. Number two about a granola bar. Granola bars are high in something called carbohydrates. What are carbohydrates? Carbohydrates are things like, or foods high in carbohydrates, things like breads, rice, potato products like French fries and baked potatoes and mashed potatoes and stuff like that, as well as things like fruit, specifically bananas, and even in some vegetables. So carbohydrates don't convert to blood sugar as quickly as just like table sugar does, but it still does as well, and certain types of carbohydrates convert even faster than other ones. Bananas are just basically engineered sugar with a little bit of fruit thrown in there. And then there are things like, peppers that you like slice up for seasoning. That stuff has very little carbohydrates, though it still has some. So the other thing in the granola bar that causes a problem in this situation is that granola is basically mostly carbs. It has some fiber, which is good, but it's a ton of carbs. So when you eat a granola bar, although it be low caloric intake, you are causing your body to do two things: release a lot of insulin, which forces all of the sugar that's in the granola bar into your fat cells, and then it's locking the fat cells so that when you are hungry later, your body can't burn fat. The only thing your body has access to for energy is to break down muscle and use that as energy. So that's going through lunch. And the other added problem with having something like a granola bar and having that spike of insulin is, I'll call it the American Chinese food situation. So if you're one to have American Chinese food, you know that most of the dishes are things like rice, fried rice or white rice, plus like sweet and sour chicken or sweet and sour whatever it is. It's basically sugar wrapped around meat. When you have American Chinese food, you tend to eat it, feel stuffed, and then in an hour and a half or so, you're hungry again. Why are you hungry again? Because basically everything in American Chinese food is sugar and carbohydrates, which causes your body to release a lot of insulin. The insulin comes rushing into your body, changes all that stuff to blood sugar, and then pushes all that blood sugar into fat cells, locks it, but it does such an efficient job of doing that it wipes away all the sugar that you need just for daily activity. So by the time your body has processed all the sugar and carbohydrates in the Chinese food, it has no more sugar left to just operate on a daily basis, like just to keep on going on. So what's the result? In an hour and a half or so, you're hungry again, even though you had a humongous meal. So when you're eating that granola bar for lunch, the insulin has come in, taken all the sugar, taken all the carbohydrates, forced it into fat cells, locked the fat cells, and has done such a great job of it that now you feel hungry again because you don't have any blood sugar in your system because all of it's been pushed into your fat cells because of the spike of insulin. So that means that after lunch, sure, you might be satisfied for half an hour or so, but now you are getting hungry. So you are hungry for the rest of the day, and let's say you make it to the end of the school day or the end of the work day, and you think, okay, well, I'm gonna go and work out. You're hungry, you're probably feeling a little dizzy, so you eat yourself an energy bar. But the truth is the energy bar, again, is mostly sugar. It is super, super hard to find an energy bar that is not either high in sugar or high in carbohydrates. So what does that mean? So now you're at the gym, you eat that candy bar or that energy bar, and it converts to sugar and it's in your system, and now you have enough energy, you feel good, you're working out. But the problem is the same thing. There's a spike of insulin that pushes all that sugar from your bloodstream into your fat cells. And because there's so much insulin circulating around your body, it's locking your fat cells and not allowing any energy out of it. So that means all the working out that you're doing is actually burning either the sugar that you just ate from your energy bar, or what it's doing is breaking down the muscles that you aren't using, and it's creating energy out of those muscles. That means that when you're going to the gym, having starved yourself for the morning, and then just surviving off of sugar and carbs, that means that when you're working your biceps, your body is actually degrading the muscles in your legs as energy. And when you're working on your, let's say, your leg muscles, it's converting the muscles in your back or your stomach or anything else, because you've eaten that sugary thing, which causes a spike in insulin, which causes your fat cells to lock, and you aren't able to burn the fat, which is what the purpose of the entire dieting process is for. And that is how focusing on calories is different from focusing on insulin intake. So why is it that I said focus on insulin instead of sugar? Because I'm sure you're thinking, well, it sounds like really what I'm focusing on is sugar, because blood sugar is what spikes insulin. So shouldn't I just be looking at sugar? No, because of a study that was just released like a month and a half ago, which said that, when you decide you might be putting on weight and you want to switch sodas, and you go from, let's say, Coke to Diet Coke, and you say, well, 150 calories or whatever else in a Coke, 0 calories in Diet Coke is healthier. Well, what the study said from just like a month and a half ago was that NutraSweet, which is an artificial sweetener used in sodas, and a number of other artificial sweeteners like Equal, like those little blue containers you see in restaurants, like all of those little artificial sweeteners, they have 0 calories. However, it's been shown that they spike insulin. So although it'll be listed as 0 calories, and it might even say in some cases 0 sugar, in some cases, they have NutraSweet in them, and NutraSweet causes a spike in insulin. And then what does insulin in turn do? It locks your fat cells and prevents your body from burning the fat cells, which is the thing that you want. So let's say you're doing really good and you're doing that other diet, that diet where you're having granola bar for lunch and then your energy bar and stuff like that. If you say, well, just to kind of relieve my taste buds throughout the day, what I'll have instead is a Diet Coke, which is 0 calories. It has NutraSweet in it, and the NutraSweet is basically even worse than if you had just water, because even when you could be burning fat, you're not, because of all the insulin from the NutraSweet in your system. It's causing the fat cells to be locked. And again, that means that you're having your muscles broken down instead of your fat cells. And what's the result of having your muscles broken down instead of fat cells? Your muscles and your other body processes are why you need 2,000 calories a day. So the more muscle you have, the more calories you can have in a day and not gain or lose weight. So if you go on a diet and that diet results in you not losing fat, but you instead losing muscle, that means that when you get off the diet, that your level won't be 2,000 calories a day. Your level might be something like 1,800 calories a day, which means if you ate the exact same thing that you did before you started the diet, you will put on weight faster. This is why focusing on insulin is so much more important than focusing on exercise or focusing on reducing calories or even reducing sugar. If you want to lose weight, focus on how much the food you eat spikes insulin. There's a number of ways you can do this. There's the glycemic index, which talks about how much insulin foods release in your body and other things. But I just wanted to touch on that on this first video. If you're interested in losing weight, don't focus on calories or focus on sugar or exercise. Focus on eating foods that don't spike your insulin, because that'll allow you to actually burn fat as opposed to burning muscle, which will help you in the long run. And just for like a quick kind of, do this or do that sort of thing. If you want to stop gaining weight, what the first thing you should do is to stop drinking soda, which whether it's Coke or whether it's Diet Coke or anything else like that, stop drinking soda and stop eating candies And like that, you'll stop gaining weight most likely, and then you'll be able to maybe address losing it. And if you want to know what the next step is, if you want to think about losing weight, is you want to stop eating potato products because it's super, super high in carbs and easily converts to sugar. So you stop eating potato products, stop eating white rice, and of course, stop drinking the soda. That's like stage 2. If you want stage 3, then you have to look at like basically, and you put yourself in a real deficit. You have to start looking at other carbs like breads. You have to start looking at things like fruit, because bananas are a fruit and it's basically just all sugar. There's some fruits that are okay. There's some vegetables that have more carbs than others. So for the third stage, you should start looking at all forms of carbs. And if you just do those simple things, you'll notice that you won't be as hungry as often because you won't have as many insulin spikes, because the insulin spikes are really what drain your system of sugar and make you more hungry. You'll have less bouts of hunger, and you will be more likely to burn fat, maintaining muscle, which will in turn help you to lose even more weight. So, it's up to you whether or not you want to use the information or not, but the information is it's important just to have it so that you can make the decision whether or not you will apply or not. You could just keep the information in your head and then use it in 5 years or in 10 years. The important thing is to start looking at the truth of why it is people gain weight and why lose weight. And then once you have the truth, then you can start working with it however you'd like. So I hope that was helpful. And this video was sponsored by my latest MMF bisexual romance, Rules for Spanking. It has a 4.5-star rating on Amazon right now. It's actually been climbing up the charts even higher since I released it, which is really, really satisfying. People are really enjoying the book. I hope you check it out too. It is only 99 cents, and by catching that book and reading it, checking it out, if you're in Kindle Unlimited, you'll be supporting the channel. Another way to support the channel is to check out my t-shirts on Amazon. I have 19 bisexual related t-shirts on Amazon. This is the best-selling bisexual t-shirt on Amazon. If you check that out, you'll be doing your part to help me make more videos and support the channel. And if you like this video, you can give it a thumbs up or subscribe. I do many videos on bisexual topic, but I don't do them on a regular basis, though I try to do them every Sunday. But if you'd like to know when a new video comes out, you can click on the subscribe button and click on that little bell. And by doing that, you'll be letting YouTube know that you'd like to know when a new video comes out. Till the next video, stay cooler, my bisexual friend. Stay cooler. Bye. And check out Rules for Spanking. Bye.